big night, man.
It's a big night. Coke Icy, the game plan.
Coke Icy. What else icy? Coke Icy. Life Icy.
Coke Icy, Life Icy. You gonna keep the game plan?
Alright, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Talking That Talk official podcast. We are the best at what we do. I always like to talk my shit. I go by the name of King Exodus, aka X.
What's going on, world? That's your boy Juice, aka No Ordinary Brother, aka a Rising Pharaoh.
Alright, and shouts out to everybody that's tapped in to us. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. We have more content always available, different topics, different conversations. Shouts out to everybody that's tapped in via IG Live. So what we got tonight, man? What's going on? What we talking about?
Alright, y'all. Yeah, it's one of my posts I did not too long ago. You know how Juice is. Like, I like to do surveys and get everybody else different interpretations and perceptions on certain topics and whatnot. So there was a certain topic I had put it up, right? It was who has more pressure, men to be successful or women to be beautiful. It was like an either or type of question, just to kind of get like the idea of how everybody see things. But I figure we can actually drag this along and hit more topics with it, right? Maybe a second, I have to pause the music, you know, get myself ready for this. So by a long shot, I had 20 votes for the men, saying it's more pressure to be successful as a man, and then 9 votes for the women, saying it's more pressure to be beautiful as a woman. So even within the male and female selection, it was honestly interesting enough that it was more women. Of course, you had the men that voted for men, but it was also about at least 7 women that voted for the option of men being more successful than it is for women. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. You know what I'm saying? I do want to hit a couple of different avenues of that. So with that first poll along, I'll also say this, right? When it comes to men being successful, that's driven to men and women. Like, hey, women be told that man not successful, don't deal with them. Men are told like, hey, if you're not successful, women don't want to deal with you. That's how I already like put it out there, right? If you're not out there executing yourself as a man when it comes to building wealth or climbing the corporate ladder or being able to provide, it's damn near like DNA encoded to us at like childbirth. So it's a lot of pressure. That's why if, you know what I'm saying, if a person's in their late 30s trying to get their life together, they're already seen as a failure. But I want people to also understand Jeff Bezos only had about 10K worth of wealth at the age of 30, and then he became a billionaire at the age of 35. So sometimes it might take longer to get the ball moving, but it's definitely a different significant pressure account when it comes for men being successful versus women being successful. Now on the beauty part, I will say this, when it comes to the fitness part, I do feel like the fitness is a tad different for men and women, because we're always told, hey, women should have a certain shape and fitness. I will give them that. Fitness, I do feel like there is a difference between men and women. Women are more pressure to have a certain physique than it is men, right? We always get taught the dad bod, it's everything, you know, look good. The woman's always supposed to look better than the man, so I will give it that. You know what I'm saying? Just hit kind of subject right now. I don't want to rant too long, man. What you doing there, man? You smoking that good? Zaza, woo, wah, wah, wah?
Alright, so I guess going into the conversation, I most definitely feel like there's pressure on both sides, but men have the higher pressure of being successful, and that's simply because of the structure within society. We follow hypergamy, mostly within this country, that favors, you know, a man making more, man being the sole provider. You know what I'm saying? Going back to a show that we're all watching right now, BMF. You know what I'm saying? Like, the father in the show really can't provide for his family enough, you know what I'm saying, for his family to actually live a quote-unquote above average life, or even average.
They're all working 4 jobs and they're still in poverty.
Right, so the onus in that situation is not how beautiful the mother is, it's how successful the father is, because now that's what's going to determine if his kid's going to be out there selling drugs or not, or what his kids are going to do, or where they're going to fall shy in their personal life. It's not based on mama's looks. You feel me? So that's an early cook-up.
Hey, that's an early cook-up, baby. That's an early cook-up, baby. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go, man.
No doubt, you know what I'm saying, the father's success is what's going to feed the family. The mother's looks may be like, it may alter like you know what I'm saying? You hear stories back in the day how people ate food that wasn't good for them, but the food was made out of love. You know what I'm saying? So they still had like nourishment from the food, quote unquote. That kind of shit may affect the food. You know what I'm saying? It may affect the performance that she's carrying around the house, but that's not gonna make or break the family. You know what I'm saying? That's a personal struggle. Now I do believe that if women do feel the pressure of being pretty more than average, that's a society's problem that society caused with the European standard of beauty, the particular hair, the particular face, the particular eyelashes, skin tones. These are things that society put on women, and if women choose to indulge into these standards instead of set their own standards, then you can't take that to the family, or you can't bring that and compare it to a man's pressure of being successful, because he don't have an option in that.
Oh, say that again. We ain't got no option, bro. We ain't got no option when it comes to successful as being a man.
What I'm saying?
We ain't got no option. We ain't got no option, bro. I love how you said that, man.
Yeah.
Because we don't got no option.
Right. So, and let's keep it 100. The skinniest, the biggest, the prettiest, the ugliest woman in the world still got a sex life.
It's still getting her back.
You know what I'm saying? Still got a man, still got a sex life. You see, I said still got a man and still got a sex life.
Hey man, yo man, hey, look, we're doing it early, man. We're doing it early, man. We gotta do this shit early, man. We gotta start strong, man. Because this is another thing I also say when it comes to the structure of beauty versus men and women. We're getting told, if y'all pay attention nowadays, what are they telling women? You're beautiful the way you are. So what's the beauty standard? If they're beautiful no matter what they do, how they look, how bad their teeth are, their breath, how spunky they are, you're beautiful the way you are. There's not really a big standard on that in that case. Right. But as men, we're like, what's your finances look like? What kind of car you drive? Where you live? You know what's your job position?
Sometimes you gotta be beautiful, successful, and have character as a man.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
Beautiful in the feminine sense, but beautiful. Women
good looking. You gotta be good looking.
Want a good looking man, nice shape. You know
oh man, yeah. Because look, you could have all the other cues, but if you missing one, that's it, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why we always talk about it at the same time. This was interesting. I'm gonna bring up another topic, right? Hey, I just gonna be honest with y'all one time, man. And the topic was
I was dating this woman.
Nah, I ain't gonna talk about the date. And one of the topics was are men really ashamed of being with like big women or something of that nature? And after I was at this party, I was watching everybody observe and answer the question. One dude was just like, "Nah, man, it don't matter how big you are. Us men love that." And I looked at him, I'm observing him. He's like 6'3" and skinny. And something in my back of my mind, I wanted to ask him so bad, like, so what's the biggest woman you ever been with, bro? Because when I looked around within that sect there was a lot of big women, not gonna even lie. So I didn't know if he felt pressure to like want to like dismiss, the energy that was in that room, or just let her know like, hey, man will accept you the way you are. But then I was like, yo, I'm gonna be honest, bro. Some women that are big, some of y'all get smacked behind closed doors, but y'all not seen with people in public for reasons, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's in public, you know what I'm saying? It's not really on the same side of town that man might be known on. It's always on the opposite side of town. It's different, like eye candy and figures and stuff, right? That's why if a man is big and a woman's with him and she's fit or skinny, like nobody looks at that like, oh. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot about pressure. Like, oh, okay, like cool. He might have money or he might be doing something of that nature. But like I said, it's just different pressures on. So let's hit another sector, right? We talked about. I said fitness. I'll give it more towards women than men. You know what I'm saying? To success in the employment realm or different natures of that? What's your go take? Because to me, it's like I see the difference between success within women and men. It's like if a woman is able to maintain a man, then she's successful, right? Versus an employment position and climbing the ladder. Everybody has a different level of success, but that's what I have learned within my time periods.
So you're saying like a woman's success is based on her relationships?
Her relationships more so than her job position.
Right, and for a man, it's the opposite.
It's the opposite, yes.
Okay, yeah, I would agree, and that applies to the conversation.
Because the only time, like, it's like, put it like this: women are looked at somebody powerful, unless they do something groundbreaking, right? So, in other words, like, listen, like, she's a top real estate agent. Okay, okay, it's like okay, but it's like it's no power outside of that position, though, right? But however, if she maintained a relationship, it's like, oh well, she's married to the top real estate agent, and da da da. And it's like, oh, she must be somebody.
Okay.
That's what I'm kind of looking at, right? That's what I said. Unless it's something groundbreaking like science, technology, engineering, math that she has done that can help society on the basis of that, then it's like, okay, she's smart, intelligent, and so forth. You know, she might win a Women Empowerment of the Year or something of that nature.
Yeah, Women Empowerment of the Year.
Well, it's a Women Empowerment of the Year. That's what I'm saying, because she has hit multiple avenues with her intelligence, her acts, and things of that nature. But not necessarily when it's just like outside of that. And then you're like, okay, what has she maintained outside the employment status?
Okay. I would just simply say, once again, that's society set that standard. There's nothing really much to argue on that.
Okay.
I do see somewhat of a change within that standard, though, to where when the shift was, behind the feminist movement and how it affected, quote unquote, the black community, we did see a shift where that was flipped to where women weren't judged on their relationship status anymore. They was judged on, I'm not even going to say their success, but how successful were they being independently. You know what I'm saying?
Without a man.
Without a man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So some kind of way that narrative did flip. But going back to the conversation.
Did it ever flip?
What? To what I just said?
Yeah. Did it ever flip? How well they can maintain without having a man? Because in that case, it's still going on to today.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's what it flipped to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's stupid because that's going against nature. Everybody here is put on earth, you know what I'm saying, to function with someone from the opposite sex. It just happens like that. Or, you got different stuff going on these days. Opposite sex, same sex, whatever the case. Family structure, okay?
Okay.
So it's set up for family structures to exist in order to succeed. So going back to the conversation, there are some men that are dangerous to me that knows the quote-unquote judgment process is how successful they are, but they still don't give a fuck about being successful. That's a scary thing to me. That men will be comfortable bringing in less revenue than the next man willingly and happily. So I think that's a part of the conversation we got to focus on as well, because not every man locks in and keys on his success, his status as being successful. You know what I'm saying? And not every woman keys in on her beauty. You know what I'm saying? Not every woman falls to that pressure either. Some women, just like we was just saying, if any women can have a sex life and have a family the way they are, now the onus is you're beautiful the way you are. All this body shaming shit is in play. So it's kind of taking the emphasis off of these quote unquote standards. And I think what it's doing now is opening the door for people to be successful or unsuccessful, and to be healthy or unhealthy. But that's another conversation.
No, it's not. It ain't no other conversation. All this is getting done today.
Right,
we on time. We got time.
So that'll be like the pros and cons to women feeling the pressure of being beautiful. I would say feel the pressure of being healthy. You know what I'm saying? Use that as your face of being beautiful. Even if you don't look like a model or an Instagram model or whatever the case, just be the best version of yourself.
Right.
Don't sell yourself short just because you can still have a sex life. And same thing to men, don't sell yourself short of being successful just because you still can establish a family or a relationship and still get by. So that's my shots at both.
Okay. That shots at both of them?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I gotta get you out of here.
All right.
This is a men's channel. This is a men's channel. We don't do that. Oh man. Okay. Cool. So let's get into the subject. Who would feel more pressure? Is there more pressure in providing or supporting?
Providing, man.
Providing?
I would say providing.
You know what's interesting about that is because when we talk about the provider and the support role within the family, you have people be like, well, you know, even though you're providing, you know,
Don't say that next shit. I don't want to. I'm the neck.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I wasn't going there. I said it's more interesting when it comes to that role is because you have men that go out to provide, you know, be gone, whatever, it's 8, 10, 12, 16 hours. Mm-hmm. But someone would feel it's still equivalent to support the family of being home, whether it's cooking, cleaning, maintaining the kids, or making sure things are done around the household. In fact, there's studies that actually came out saying that a stay-at-home mom raising a newborn baby is equivalent to working 2 jobs. And I was like, what? So it's interesting. That's why I wanted to get your thoughts. I'm gonna send you the link on that.
All right.
So that's why I said, do you feel it's more pressure to provide or to support the family? To me, I'm gonna be honest. I think providing would be way more pressure, because if everything is revolved around finances, then without the finances, you can't feed. You can't feed. There's no what's the word? Shelter. There's no clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, without those, what do you support?
Right. I mean, that's pretty much what I was gonna say.
Okay.
The providing comes first. It's not to undermine or
Miss Hammy on here.
Yeah, it's not to diminish the role of being a supporter.
Okay.
Because that's very key as well. But like we were saying, without the provider, you won't have anything in play to support.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So all that supportive energy will go where? Nowhere. And like we were saying, the finances ultimately, or the majority, is what brings in the shelter for you to raise those kids and do all these things. So yeah, it's a team effort, no doubt, but definitely the provider has more to stress, because, you know what I'm saying, a real man got to wake up and go to sleep every night knowing if he's providing the best experience to his family or not.
Or everything is on his shoulders. If he fucks up, everything breaks. That's why when we talk about relationships being compatible, if everything's depending on the type of man you're dealing with, if all the pressure's on him for everything to be established, then once he cripples, everything falls. Or do you also support and leverage it out by helping pitch in whatever is something financial or not? That's why it's kind of interesting on that part when it comes to situations like that, right? That's why I was like, oh, I want a man to take care of everything at the house. Okay, if he falls, then what happens? Do you have the back? Or do you have the support? Because I remember there was 2 scenarios dealing with 2 different friends of mine, right? One scenario was one man loved it, right? He was like, yeah, my woman, I take care of everything and this and that. He loved the pressure, right? When he fell, everything failed though, right? Something happened. And another one had it to where, and within that relationship, he let his woman spend the money how she wanted to. Mm-hmm. In the second relationship with one of my friends, it was the same scenario, but the other woman decided to put money to the side in case anything ever happened. So what is what's being established within those boundaries of finances? Like, hey, I take care of the house, at least have some money put to the side in case anything happens. Or do you feel a woman should be able to spend her money how she wants to? Because that's how some people are. Mm-hmm. Do you believe like a woman should be able to spend her money how she wants to and you just provide everything else? Or do you believe she should be able to have some type of backup funds for the family as well?
Going back to that supportive role.
Huh?
The supportive role would be to have the backup funds for the family, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reasons, whether it's used in an emergency or not.
Okay.
It's just showing responsibility and support and assistance. And when we have this whole notion of his money is our money and my money is my money, well, you know what I'm saying, now we're incorporating selfishness into the unit, into the family.
Uh-huh.
So now we're throwing the dynamic of everything off, because now we got selfishness that's on the table. And there's some women that's probably gonna say men do selfish shit as well. That's not the argument.
Yeah,
it's just simply saying
that shit.
Teamwork. If we say teamwork makes the dream work, then we got to stick to it on all levels. You can't pick and choose which levels you want to be a team, and then the next level where you're not even a part of that shit anymore.
Yeah, one day you want to be in the field, the next day you want to coach. No, we don't do that.
Right. So, I think to be fair, you know what I'm saying, both people should still have a portion of their money that is exclusive to themselves. That way no one feels like they have to be selfish. You just go ahead and establish it outright. You know what I'm saying? I know when I was in high school, I had a teacher, did a photography class. And he talked about him and his wife, and he was like, we don't do that sole provider shit. We got an account, we have separate accounts, and then we have a joint account. And the joint account, that's where we put all the money for the bills, with an S, not S. You know what I'm saying? So he like, yo, I have my half of the mortgage, she have her half. If she don't have her half when it's due, I pay it, but then she owe me her half back. You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna say, oh, he's not being a provider or he's less of a man. No, you are entitled to structure your financial part of your relationship the way you see fit. What fits your household. You know what I'm saying? So if that shit works for people, it works. But hopefully that answered the question.
No, that was beautiful. That was beautiful because I was about to say, I met a couple like that before. There was like, hey, we have a 20 or 30% rule, right? Whatever we make during the week, we dish out 20% or 30% of our check. Now, there's a big financial difference between each other by 30 grand.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. It was just whatever your 20 or 30% is, that's what you throw out. Like, even if, let's just say hypothetically, you have 20 or 30% of your check was 500, 20, 30% of our check is 200. He said it doesn't matter. It's still 20 to 30%. That's what we set our finances on. I'm like, okay, I like this. All right.
Yeah, see,
that's what's up. That's what's up.
I like that. Because now we're talking about when people say, look, I set my expectations and boundaries out in the beginning and I put it all out in the front. Why don't you ever do that when it comes to economics and finances? That can save a lot of problems later on down the line. A lot of people don't really want to have those conversations until after they get married.
Or right before, or like when they about to move in with each other. Okay, how we doing this thing?
Right. No, you're supposed to already have that worked out. But I would go back to a quote that Chris Rock made. He said, "Women and children are loved unconditionally, but men are only loved based on what they can provide." And I think it fits into the conversation because we're talking about it. So you even made a comment one time. You have the man that can provide a house. And then you got the man that pays for an apartment. Both have families. What makes one better than the other, quote unquote, or more or less of a man?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
they don't understand the power there. Want to break that down again for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So let's say this is the power of the mind when it comes to being a man, right? I stay in an apartment, X stay in a house. We're both men. We both have families, right? If I spend the same exact money that X spends going to the grocery store, if he walks into the house and I walk into an apartment, they'll be like, X is a man. Why? Because he has a house and I only have an apartment. Because then you have the same amount of stuff I'm spending and he's spending, there's then the differentiation between that is going to be what else is behind it, right? Just like the difference between, hey, he's driving a Cadillac and I'm driving a Toyota, right? There's a different establishment of what kind of men we are by the materialistic things we have, even if technically we're spending the same exact type of money. So even with the same thing with a Cadillac and a Toyota, his Cadillac can be an older model and his car note can be the same equivalent of my car note of what I'm paying. But like I said, the materialistic values, it's going to be the separation between the two and what people will separate between who's the man in that situation and who's not. But we're both men, but what society has placed in our mind is how a man should conduct himself in order to be successful or to look like the ideal man that you should want to be, right? So I even have that situation when it comes down to one of my uncles, right? Man was barely in town growing up when I was a child. But every time he come to town, he would pay everybody's bills, put food in the refrigerator, take people out. We're going on like these nice dates and outings. I was like, damn, man, is that how a man's supposed to act? It's like that was the biggest impact in my life. He made me want to become that type of sole provider just because every time he would come in, you would see leadership. What he do, people would just follow automatically. And he would only be in town for like 3 days to a week and he's gone. And I'm like, damn, is that how a man acts? He just comes in, gets shit done and leave? I'm like, well, and the impact from him being within town within those X amount of days, you see the people show up, the smiles and faces. Like everybody knows when he comes around, shit is gonna get done.
Right.
And that played a big impact for me growing up. And like even to this day, like I could say like somewhat part of me is still after that that dream of just someone becoming similar to him. Even though I got to understand we live different lives, and that's the main thing. What people got to be able to accept at the same time.
Right. I was just gonna say the same thing. Make no mistake about it. Like, everybody still got to be comfortable in their own skin and know where you are in life personally, as a man or as a woman with your beauty standards. You have to know who you are and where you at, especially dealing with men and being successful. Because not every man has the same path towards success. And just because your path is longer, it doesn't mean that it's less beneficial or less accomplished than somebody who got there faster. You know what I'm saying? So I think I read something today that said the faster the success, the bigger the ego, the longer the path, the more wisdom obtained, or some shit like that.
Okay.
So it really just depends on your perception and how you look at it. That's why I'm not too big on that whole competing with certain people type shit, because your biggest competition should be yourself.
Really?
You should be constantly figuring out your weaknesses and how you can get stronger. You should be so wrapped up into your own world that what the next person is doing, it really don't even matter. And when you see people win, you're rooting because you feel like you winning in your personal life at the same time, even though you may not be winning the same way they're winning. You know what I'm saying? That's the state of being a winner. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be comfortable and proud of your own success so that you don't die, stress yourself out, and, jump ship because you can't live up to a particular standard of being a quote-unquote successful man.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be realistic, you have to be confident, and you have to be knowledgeable. You know what I'm saying? You have plenty of millionaires that didn't hit it until they was 50.
30, 35, 50, 40. Like that's another thing. Like a lot of us have pressure. I just turned 30 this year, and I was already in that mind state at a young age. Like, yo, man, I gotta be a millionaire in my 20s and this and that. And it wasn't so I started talking to my cousin, man, and he's like, hey, look, a lot of that stuff y'all get fed is fucking fairy tales. He said there's a different percentage of amount of people that hit it because of who they are, their situation, their circumstances, their intellect, their network, and their disciplines early on in their age. He said most men do not hit certain platforms in their life until the age of 35, right? So this is the power of the age of 35 that people don't understand. That's why when it comes to being a president, the age is 35. That's why when it comes to a high value man, as Kevin Samuels, the age is 35. The age is 35 for a reason, because you have established a certain platform for yourself throughout your age, right? At the age of 18, you're a young adult. So add 18 more years to that, you're basically a grown adult. So your network has now expanded to, like I said, what you have established. So you gotta remember, your brain doesn't even start growing until like the age of 20 something. So you're still going through a whole lot of development stage and different phases. What you want to do, how you want to conduct yourself. That's why I tell everybody, like, hey, if you don't like how your life going, it's time to reinvent yourself. Hey, if you don't like how things are going, it's time to relaunch yourself, right? Me and X, like I said, we're already planning for the next phase of this business as well as each other.
We moving, baby. We moving.
We gotta move. We gotta move. We gotta reinvent, relaunch. It's all important. This is how you grow as a person and grow as a better being. Like I said, to me, so they said different age brackets discuss who you are, right? Every 10 years they say your appearance and your apparel should change, clothes. And I'm looking at it like this: oh shit, if 35 is the age to become a grown adult, that's really like that's part 2 of your life, because everything's going to be established. Like, yo, what did you do 35 years prior to 35 years going up, right? That's why some people have it within their mindsets of, hey, if you ain't got it right now, you gonna ever have it. But that's not necessarily true. It's just, who are you willing to cut off? Who are you willing to listen? Who are you willing to let guide you to the next phases, right? I had got into it. I want to say we got into it, but I talked to one of my mentors the other day, and we're talking about stocks, right? And he was like, yeah, man, remember, don't buy stocks, because stocks are not a good way to invest. I was like, technically you can't tell me that, and there's millionaires and billionaires that have stocks at the same time. So, we have a little word exchange. So he took it as me being hostile, and I was just like, no, I'm not being hostile. I do. We haven't been engaged in a business talk. I said, business talks, I'm non-emotional. I'm here to learn. I was like, that's cool that you're telling me about stocks, but at the same time, from what I'm reading, all these different websites, different networks, different things of that nature, they're saying that stocks work. That's like me saying, hey, don't get into real estate, and there's billionaires in real estate. People don't even know there's billionaires in selling cars, BMWs. And I was like, bro, y'all can't just throw certain stuff out there to people and not let them learn on their own or understand there's different markets, right? That's why you gotta pick what works best for you. Like at one point, I don't know if you was, I was at following the money, right? If it was, hey, real estate is $1 billion, okay, I'm going to real estate. And stocks are right, hey, I'm going stocks. It's whatever the money was at, I used to chase that at one point in time, but you gotta find out what's best works for you.
Going back to that real quick, I like the way Grant Cardone said it best. He was like, look, stocks just ain't my thing. That's all he said about it.
Yeah, that's all he said.
You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it. I personally don't like it because he's waiting. He didn't like making money that he didn't have absolute hands-on control.
Hands-on control.
Making deals automatically. All he talks about is equity for the most part. So anything outside of that, he really don't kick. You have certain people that kick stocks and real estate, but they only kick it within the value of stocks, ETFs, and rates versus actually getting into real estate per se hands-on,
right?
Where they just buy the stock in the real estate.
Right.
Some people want to own land. Some people want to own stocks within owning land.
Man, I just realized we're going outside the topic, man. We got to get ready.
I think it's still the successful man shit.
Oh, the man? Okay.
It's still the successful man shit.
Okay.
But going back to the basics, man, somebody made a comment that women have it harder as far as being beautiful versus men being successful. And I'm not shitting on that, but and like in what community? Because personally in the black community, I want to say roughly about 80% of those black women are considered obese by the BMI context.
Yeah, BMI index.
So we have, like I say earlier in the conversation, we have the quote unquote European standard of beauty that we follow, straight hair, you know what I'm saying, lighter skin, all these things.
BMI symmetric. So,
right, so.
Because they say BMI is European standard, but it's actually.
Well, no, I don't want to say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that's what people would say,
so,
that the BMI follows the European standard.
So pretty much what I was saying is, you know, like you got to set your own standard of beauty that befits yourself, just like pretty much everyone else does. Women, men, whatever the case be, because if you allow society to put the pressure on you on what is beauty, then you're going to live and die behind that, literally. It's a lot of people stress themselves out because they don't look like the next person or have what the next person got. So I think that falls on both sides, responding to that.
I'm about to say, but yeah, I believe you have to buy into the beauty of it, because at the same time, I don't see men transforming their bodies like women. Lipo, enhancement of the breast, enhancement of the ass.
Some people will say they're doing that because they have the pressure of
being beautiful.
Some people would argue that.
That's the pressure.
I'm not arguing it.
hey, look, but we got to talk about it. But yeah, but that's very much interesting. Like I said, it's different concepts that you at least adopt to yourself and make yourself want to do, or you don't. The natural, right? We always talk about the natural woman, right? I was like, to a man, we look at the natural state as the most beautiful state, right? Something. But I'm just gonna say natural state is the most. But, you know, at the same time, now we got the beat by the gods type shit. You know what I'm saying? That's now, you know, I said the more things that's being implemented into the beauty standard, that's, you know, you'll buy into that. But at the same time, it's people that feel fine the way they are. That's why I said earlier, beauty is as it is. Like, hey, you're beautiful the way you are. Like, no matter how it is, you don't hear men saying, hey, you're fine the way you are. No, every man is wanting a man to step his way up. Like, hey man, you can get better than that. Hey, you do that. Only to myself and what I heard all my life, you're fine the way you are. As what I always heard women say, you're beautiful the way you are. You're fine the way you are. So we can't say, I don't feel, like I said, that this would be interesting to get another woman on the subject. We're going to have to do a part 2 to this, like get like 1 or 2 women. And cool. Let them discuss, you know, how they feel about the beauty versus the man standard. Like I said, if a woman is able to get a successful man, boom, life is good. But if she get a loser man, then it's like, shit. I don't even know what to say after that, man. But yeah, go ahead.
That's all I got on that, man.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all I got on that one.
Nah, man, it's gotta be more subjects, man. Like, it's gotta be more subject when it comes to the pressure of men and women. Let's have beauty. We had success when it comes to employment or stuff of that nature. What do you feel like is another pressure gap between men and women? That could be decided between, you know what I'm saying, there's more pressure on that man, there's more pressure on that woman. We talk about the house structure, we talk about the finances, we talk about the employment, we talk about the fitness. Do you feel like there's, I almost said, do you feel like there's an intellectual gap? On who to be more intelligent?
Nah, that depends on the people.
That don't depend on the people.
Not every woman wants a man that's smarter than her. Some women like dumber men. It is what it is.
I mean,
I was gonna say, I guess if we want to take it there, I would say.
I'm just saying, like, we gotta hit more subjects.
Well, I would say accountability and reconnecting.
Ooh.
I think oh shit, they coming, shots coming.
Oh man, you said the accountability.
You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
man.
I think men had a pressure of carrying more accountability and more of that responsibility on reconnecting and, you know what I'm saying, all these things. That's just my personal opinion. That's, you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to do it, man.
We see it on TV all the time, couple get into a fight. 9 times out of 10, it's the dude that's outside her window with a boom box or Bluetooth speaker. You know what I'm saying? It's him that's sending the flowers to the job saying, baby, come back.
Baby,
You know
come
what I'm
back.
saying? You don't really see it in the movies where the women is, you know what I'm saying, in reverse. I don't know what the fuck they would do to try to, you know what I'm saying? But you
Get a
don't
man,
see,
man. I mean,
you don't see
what
that
happened
coming.
in Love and Basketball? She came back to do.
That was-
Get married?
that was the only one?
That's the only one.
That's the only movie I
After he about to get married, she come back. I play for your heart.
Play for your heart, yeah. And then he dunked on her and shit.
He dunked on it. Oh, in your version, he dunked on it.
Damn, that shit. But no, you know what I'm saying? So I think the emphasis more so is on men to reconnect. I think I was having a conversation earlier where talking to one of the homies and he was like, yo, he was, you know, patching shit up with a chick before. The extremes he went, and then on the flip side, he was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know, she sent me a message, or, you know what I'm saying? She did some shit on the cool, and I had to read it in between the lines and peep that she was trying to reconnect versus men have to be outright in that fashion.
If you want me back, just say it.
Right. You supposed to know. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to fight for it. So, I think men carry more of that pressure to be accountable for their things. I don't know too many situations where it's hard for some men to admit that they're wrong, but I've seen it be even harder for women to admit that they're wrong or accept the fact first that they're wrong. So that's, you know, no shots fired.
Yo, that is like.
That's all I
Man,
got.
that's some interesting stuff, man. That's all I can say, man. That is definitely all I can say. So, are you saying that accountability is less on women but more on men?
Certain situations.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so you gotta even like, so hypothetically, like, the accountability, like, I guess cheating. It's more on men to admit that they're honest about cheating or stepping out than it is like women when they get caught. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you wasn't giving me time. You
Right. You wouldn't listen to me.
You wasn't listening to me.
Since I didn't talk to you.
You gonna let him stick that dick?
right. So yeah, shit like that.
Yo, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. I had to sit up for that part, man. Like, that's the accountability that nobody talks about. It's like when they step out, it's always your fault in the end. It's your fault. You wasn't talking to me. You don't rub my back no more. You don't tell me I'm beautiful. Hell, he made me feel so alive.
Right.
He remember how I smile, my favorite gifts, my colors, and
Like you brought up Love Jones. That was some shit. Yeah.
Love Jones was some shit, man. I'll never forget that. No matter what happened, she was right and made him feel wrong. I was like, huh. Okay, so that's accountability action. Okay, so I said, what I say?
You just
Intellectual. What would be another category? You feel like it's different between men and women?
Shit. What do you think about the sex in a relationship?
Sex in a relationship?
Who got more pressure?
Who got more pressure in sex?
More pressure.
Man, gotta have more pressure, man.
You gotta have more pressure.
Man, that's more pressure, man.
Yeah.
You see what happened this week?
Yeah.
Last week. Oh man, I expect you to read my mind. What the fuck? It was like, yo, nobody talks about sex. You know, that's interesting. Who has more pressure, men or women in sex? I'm definitely gonna say the man, bro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the man. Like, I'm surprised nobody commented about that shit earlier. Like, what about the sex though? Like,
Yeah. I mean, shit. Other than that shit, that's all that matters.
Why would you say women don't have pressure in sex?
I ain't say they don't have none. I just said more the pressure is on
More
the
the
man.
pressure's on the man.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with
The
that.
man gotta initiate it.
Gotta initiate it.
Perform.
Okay.
Perform again.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Women, perform. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think in relationships, it gets a little bit more intense, especially people being together longer periods. But yeah, I say, man. Yeah. But I say,
Well, hey, look, man, I'm just But like, that is interesting. I'm gonna agree with that. Men do have more pressure when it comes to sexual performance than women. I'm gonna agree with that. I gotta agree with that. It's definitely more pressure.
Even the chick with the whackers, whatever, dries, whatever. They still gonna judge that guy based off what he did. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna. Yeah. You can have some C grade stuff and still want A plus.
C grade, but what A grade?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm done on that, man.
I think I'm done on that, man. This is an interesting topic right there, man. That was interesting. Who has more pressure?
Tell the people where to follow us, man.
Man, you already follow me right now if you're on IG at No Ordinary Brother. That's where you follow me. But specifically to follow the podcast is at Talking That Talk Official Podcast.
Right.
YouTube channel, IG channel, TikTok, but expand to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Look, yo, if you're a marketer, time to hit us up. Let's do business. Like, we kind of busy. We're starting to get busy on our end. Editors and stuff like that. Let's talk. Let's talk numbers. Let's make some.
He's gonna pay you. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all time, man.
All right, man. We out of here. Peace. That man said sex.